You have 3 years. After 65, that's the window your body gives you to wake your stem cells back up. Miss it, and they stop being dormant and start dying off for good, and no clinic on earth brings them back. Here's what almost no doctor understands. Your stem cells don't die at 65. Stanford proved they still hold 97% of their regenerative power. They go dormant, asleep in your bone marrow, waiting for a signal that never comes. And while they sleep, your body stops repairing itself. Wounds heal slower. Muscle stops rebuilding. Fat piles on because your body switches from regenerating to storing. Then, somewhere past that 3-year mark, the dormant ones start dying permanently. That's the clock nobody told you was running. 67-year-old man, my patient. Cut on his hand took 3 weeks to close. Exhausted. Stubborn fat that wouldn't move for years. His stem cell activity tested near the bottom for his age. His body had stopped regenerating and started hoarding. I gave him 6 actions. Some foods, some habits, one specific compound. Nothing else changed. 8 weeks later, his markers showed stem cell mobilization. The fat finally released, and a wound healed in 5 days instead of 3 weeks. These 6 actions flip the signal that wakes dormant stem cells, force your body out of storage mode, and restart the repair that shut down after 65. No injections. No $5,000 clinic. $58 billion a year. The regenerative medicine industry. Selling injections while the switch is free. Your dormant cells are their paycheck. Now, number 2 on this list triggered the strongest stem cell response of them all, and it costs nothing to do tonight. Every study is waiting for you in the description. Before we start, tell me one thing below. What's your age, and how long does a small cut take to heal on you now? I read every comment myself, and I write back. Now let's start with action number 6, the one that sends the wake-up signal your stem cells have been waiting years to receive. Number 6, the ancient drink that shields your stem cells. There is a compound hiding inside green tea that most people have never heard of, and it might be one of the easiest ways to protect the stem cells you still have left. It is called epigallocatechin gallate, or EGCG for short. Think of EGCG as a bodyguard for your stem cells. It does not necessarily create new ones, but it protects the ones that are still working from oxidative damage, which is the single biggest threat to stem cell survival after 65. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry found that EGCG reduced oxidative stress markers in human mesenchymal stem cells by 39%. That is significant because oxidative stress is essentially rust forming on your cellular machinery. When your stem cells get rusty, they stop dividing and repairing tissue. EGCG slows that rusting process dramatically. Another study from Tohoku University in Japan tracked over 14,000 adults aged 65 and older for 6 years. They found that participants who drank 5 or more cups of green tea daily had a 26% lower rate of functional decline compared to those who drank less than 1 cup per day. Functional decline is directly linked to how well your stem cells are maintaining tissue repair. Now here's how to get the maximum benefit. You want to brew loose-leaf green tea, not the bottled stuff loaded with sugar. Steep it in water that is around 160 to 170 degrees Fahrenheit, not boiling, because boiling water actually destroys a portion of the EGCG. Let it steep for 3 to 5 minutes. Aim for 3 to 5 cups throughout the day, not all at once. Spacing it out keeps EGCG levels steady in your bloodstream. If you do not enjoy drinking that much tea, a standardized EGCG supplement at around 400 milligrams per day can work too. But take it with food because EGCG on an empty stomach can cause nausea in some people. One important detail that most people miss is that adding a small squeeze of lemon juice to your green tea actually increases EGCG absorption by up to 5 times. Researchers at Purdue University discovered that vitamin C stabilizes EGCG in your digestive system, so more of it actually reaches your cells instead of breaking down in your gut. This is not a magic bullet, but it is a powerful daily shield. And it costs almost nothing. But protecting your existing stem cells is only the first step. Up next is something that actually tells your body to produce more of them. Number 5. The sunshine vitamin that wakes up dormant cells. Most people think of vitamin D as the bone vitamin. That is true, but it barely scratches the surface. Vitamin D3, specifically the active form called calcitriol, acts as a direct signaling molecule for your stem cells. It literally tells dormant stem cells to wake up and start working again. A landmark 2016 study published in the journal Stem Cell Reports found that vitamin D3 activated hematopoietic stem cells in the bone marrow, increasing their proliferation rate by 38%. That means your body started producing more of the stem cells responsible for making fresh blood and immune cells. For someone over 65 whose immune system is already weakening, this is enormous. Researchers at the University of California, San Francisco also discovered that people with vitamin D levels below 20 nanograms per milliliter had 47% fewer circulating stem cells compared to those with levels above 40 nanograms per milliliter. The problem is that after 65, your skin produces roughly 75% less vitamin D from sunlight than it did when you were 20. Your kidneys also become less efficient at converting vitamin D into its active form, so most seniors are walking around severely deficient without knowing it. The National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey found that over 70% of adults over 65 have insufficient vitamin D levels. Here's what you should do about it. Get your blood levels tested first. You want your 25-hydroxy vitamin D level between 40 and 60 nanograms per milliliter. Most doctors will tell you 30 is fine, but the stem cell research suggests you want it higher. To reach that range, most people over 65 need between 4,000 and 5,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily, not the 600 IU that outdated guidelines recommend. Take it with a meal that contains fat because vitamin D is fat-soluble and absorbs up to 50% better when consumed with dietary fat. A simple strategy is taking your D3 capsule alongside your breakfast eggs or a handful of almonds. Pair it with 100 to 200 micrograms of vitamin K2 in the MK7 form. This is critical because K2 directs the calcium that D3 mobilizes into your bones and teeth instead of letting it deposit in your arteries. Without K2, high-dose vitamin D can actually contribute to arterial calcification. Together, D3 and K2 form a powerful team that not only wakes up stem cells but also makes sure the downstream effects are safe. It takes about 8 to 12 weeks of consistent supplementation to see your blood levels rise meaningfully. Now that your stem cells are protected and signaled to activate, the next step involves something you do every single day with food. Before we reveal the next one, take a second to like this video and subscribe. The number 1 tip coming up has surprised thousands of seniors, and you won't want to miss it. Number 4. The eating pattern that triggers stem cell rebirth. This one does not require any supplement or special food. It is about when you eat, not what you eat. Intermittent fasting, specifically a 16-hour fasting window with an 8-hour eating window, has been shown to trigger a remarkable process in your body called autophagy. Autophagy is your body's recycling program. It breaks down damaged cells and cellular debris, and then uses that raw material to generate fresh, healthy stem cells. A groundbreaking 2018 study from MIT, published in the journal Cell Stem Cell, found that just 24 hours of fasting doubled the regenerative capacity of intestinal stem cells in both young and aged subjects. The aged subjects saw the most dramatic improvement, which means this works even better for seniors. The researchers discovered that fasting flipped a metabolic switch by activating fatty acid oxidation, and this switch directly told dormant stem cells to start dividing again. Another study from the University of Southern California, led by Dr. Walter Longo, found that 3 consecutive days of reduced caloric intake triggered a complete immune system regeneration by forcing the body to produce entirely new white blood cells from hematopoietic stem cells. In participants over 65, this cycle reduced markers of immune system aging by 28%. Now, you do not have to do a 72-hour fast to get benefits. A daily 16 to 8 pattern is enough for most people. Here is the simplest way to do it. Finish your last meal by 6 p.m. and do not eat again until 10 a.m. the next morning. That gives you a clean 16-hour fast every single day. During the fasting window, drink water, black coffee, or plain tea. No sugar, no cream, no flavored drinks because even small amounts of calories can interrupt autophagy. Start slowly if you have never fasted before. Begin with a 12-hour window and extend it by 1 hour every 3 or 4 days until you reach 16 hours. Most people adjust within 2 weeks. One critical note for seniors who take morning medications. Talk to your doctor about timing. Some medications need to be taken with food, so you may need to adjust your eating window rather than your medication schedule. The combination of fasting-triggered autophagy with the stem cell signaling from vitamin D3 creates a compounding effect where your body is simultaneously cleaning out old cells and generating new ones. But there is one particular fat that supercharges this whole process, and it is up next. Number 3. The essential fat your stem cells are starving for. Every single stem cell in your body is wrapped in a membrane, and that membrane is made primarily of fatty acids. When that membrane is stiff and inflamed, the stem cell cannot communicate properly with surrounding tissue, and it cannot divide. Omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, are the building blocks that keep those membranes fluid, flexible, and responsive. A 2017 study published in the journal Aging Cell found that omega-3 supplementation increased the telomere length of immune stem cells by 5% over 4 months in adults over 60. Telomeres are the protective caps on your DNA. When they shorten, your stem cells age and eventually die. Omega-3s actually reversed part of that shortening. That is not just slowing aging at the cellular level. That is partially reversing it. Researchers at Ohio State University found that 2.5 grams of omega-3s daily reduced inflammation markers in older adults by 12%, and this reduction in inflammation allowed stem cells in the bone marrow to function more efficiently. Chronic inflammation is essentially a constant alarm bell that tells your stem cells to stay dormant because the environment is too hostile for repair work. Omega-3s quiet that alarm. Here is the best way to get enough. Fatty fish is the gold standard. Wild-caught salmon, sardines, mackerel, and anchovies are the richest sources. You want at least 3 servings per week, with each serving being about 4 ounces. That will give you roughly 1.5 to 2 grams of combined EPA and DHA daily from food alone. If you do not eat fish regularly, a high-quality fish oil supplement is your next best option. Look for one that delivers at least 1,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA per dose, not 1,000 milligrams of fish oil total, because many cheap supplements contain only 300 milligrams of actual EPA and DHA per capsule, with the rest being filler oils. Take your fish oil with your largest meal to maximize absorption and minimize any fishy aftertaste. Store the bottle in your refrigerator because omega-3s are fragile and oxidize quickly at room temperature. Oxidized fish oil is not just useless, it is actually harmful and increases inflammation, which is the exact opposite of what you want. If you notice your fish oil capsules smell rancid or taste strongly of fish, throw them out. Fresh fish oil should have almost no odor. One study from the University of Alberta found that 82% of over-the-counter fish oil products tested had oxidation levels above recommended limits, so buying from a reputable brand matters enormously. Your stem cell membranes will start incorporating these omega-3s within about 6 to 8 weeks of consistent intake. But now we are moving into the top 2, and this next one involves something your muscles desperately need. Number 2. The type of movement that forces new stem cells to form. If there is one activity that directly forces your body to create brand new stem cells, it is resistance exercise. Not walking, not stretching, not yoga. Resistance training, where your muscles work against the load, activates a specific population of stem cells called satellite cells that live on the surface of your muscle fibers. When you challenge your muscles with resistance, those satellite cells wake up, multiply, and fuse with existing muscle fibers to repair and strengthen them. A 2020 study published in the journal JAMA Network Open followed 4,500 adults over 65 and found that those who performed resistance training at least twice per week had 33% higher circulating levels of muscle-derived stem cells compared to sedentary individuals. Their functional strength was 41% greater, and their risk of falls was cut by 29%. Separate research from the Karolinska Institute in Sweden found that a single session of moderate resistance exercise increased satellite cell activation by 48% within 72 hours, even in participants aged 70 and older. The key word there is even in older adults. Your body retains the ability to activate these stem cells at any age, but it needs the right signal, and that signal is mechanical tension on the muscle. Here is exactly what to do. Start with 2 sessions per week, never on consecutive days, because your stem cells need 48 to 72 hours to complete their repair and regeneration cycle. Focus on compound movements that use multiple muscle groups at once. Bodyweight squats using a chair for support, wall push-ups, seated rows with a resistance band, and standing calf raises are all excellent starting points. Use a resistance level where the last 2 repetitions of each set feel genuinely challenging. If you can do 15 repetitions easily, the weight or resistance is too light to trigger satellite cell activation. Aim for 8 to 12 repetitions per set, 2 to 3 sets per exercise, covering 4 to 6 exercises per session. Each session should take about 30 to 40 minutes. A 2019 meta-analysis from the British Journal of Sports Medicine reviewing 25 studies confirmed that progressive resistance training in adults over 65 increased lean muscle mass by an average of 1.1 kilograms over 12 weeks. That muscle growth is impossible without stem cell activation. Progressive means gradually increasing the challenge over time. Add a slightly heavier band or do 1 more repetition per set every 2 weeks. Your body adapts quickly, and without progression, the stem cell signal weakens. Combine this with adequate protein intake of at least 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight daily, because stem cells need amino acids to build new tissue. Everything we have covered so far is important, but nothing compares to what is coming at number 1. Number 1. The common vegetable compound that tripled stem cell protection. This is the single most powerful natural stem cell activator that science has identified, and it comes from one of the most overlooked vegetables on the planet. Sulforaphane, a compound found in broccoli sprouts, young broccoli, kale, and Brussels sprouts, activates a master switch inside your cells called the NRF2 pathway. NRF2 is essentially the control room for your body's entire antioxidant defense system. When NRF2 is activated, it turns on over 200 protective genes simultaneously, and many of those genes are directly responsible for keeping stem cells alive, functional, and ready to divide. A 2019 study from Johns Hopkins University found that sulforaphane activated NRF2 so powerfully that it increased the production of protective enzymes in stem cells by over 300%. That is a tripling of your stem cells' ability to defend themselves against the oxidative damage that shuts them down after 65. Researchers at the University of Michigan published findings in the journal Aging showing that sulforaphane reduced senescent cells, the zombie cells that crowd out functional stem cells, by 25% in aged tissue samples. When you clear out those zombie cells, you free up space and resources for your remaining stem cells to work. Here is the critical detail about getting enough sulforaphane, and most people get this wrong. Mature broccoli from the grocery store contains some sulforaphane, but broccoli sprouts contain 20 to 100 times more. 3-day-old broccoli sprouts are the most concentrated source on Earth. You can grow them at home in a mason jar for pennies. Soak 2 tablespoons of broccoli seeds in water overnight, drain them, and rinse them twice a day for 3 days. By day 3, you have a jar full of sprouts loaded with sulforaphane. Eat about 1 cup of raw sprouts daily, added to salads, sandwiches, or smoothies. Do not cook them because heat above 158 degrees Fahrenheit destroys myrosinase, the enzyme needed to convert the precursor compound into active sulforaphane. If you prefer cooked broccoli, there is a workaround. Steam mature broccoli lightly for 3 to 4 minutes, then sprinkle raw mustard seed powder on top. Mustard seeds contain their own myrosinase, which restores the sulforaphane conversion that cooking destroyed. A study from the University of Illinois confirmed that this mustard seed trick increased sulforaphane availability from cooked broccoli by up to 4 times. If growing sprouts is not practical for you, sulforaphane supplements are available. Look for ones that contain both glucoraphanin and myrosinase, not just one or the other. A dose of 30 to 60 milligrams of sulforaphane daily matches the levels used in most positive clinical studies. The combination of sulforaphane with everything else on this list creates a comprehensive stem cell reactivation strategy that addresses protection, signaling, clearance of damaged cells, and generation of new ones. So let us bring this all together. Your stem cells are not gone. They are waiting. They are waiting for the right signals, the right nutrients, and the right conditions to turn back on. Green tea protects them. Vitamin D3 wakes them up. Intermittent fasting clears the way for new ones. Omega-3s keep their membranes healthy. Resistance exercise forces them to multiply. And sulforaphane activates the master switch that supercharges the entire system. You do not need to do all 6 perfectly from day 1. Pick 2 or 3 that feel manageable. Build them into your routine and add the rest over time. The window is narrow, but it is still open. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel so you do not miss what is coming next. Thank you for watching.